In a linked list, we can add elements as and when required. So initially we just had the head pointer, the start, and suppose we say that this start was holding a value null. That means the linked list was empty at this point in time when there was no node in the list. Suppose if we have to add elements, we will create a node, we will add the data to that node, and to the pointer part we will add null. Since this is going to be our first node, that means this start should point to this node. Suppose this node was created at memory address 200. So if we put 200 in this pointer variable start, that means it will start pointing to this node n1. So this is the status currently of the linked list, that we have added a new node and we have updated the start or the head pointer to point to the first node. Since this is the only node and it is the first and the last node, this last node is not pointing to any other node, so it is currently holding a value of null. Now if I want to add more elements to this linked list, then I will have to create another node. So here I have created another node, and suppose this new node was created at address 300, and I have put in the data over here and a pointer value of null in this new node. If I want to add this new node in this linked list over here, that means n1 should start pointing to this new node n2. So if it has to point to n2, that means the pointer value over here has to be updated to the address of the new node. So we can put a value of 300 over here in this address. As soon as we put a value of 300, this will start pointing to the next node. That means n2 has been added to this new list. So this is the way we can add elements as and when required. Now every node is containing two parts over here, the data part and the pointer to the next node. And this data, it is not necessary that it is only a simple data type like an integer or a float or a character. It could be an array also. So if we are storing an array over here, then we will be storing an array over here also, over here also. So all the nodes would be of similar type. We can hold a structure over here. So if the data part over here is a structure, then it would be a structure here also, and it would be a structure here also. And the pointer to the next node will always contain the address of the next node in the sequence. Since the last node has no next node connected to it, so it will store a value of null over here. You can have -1 also stored over here. So any special value can be put over here to indicate that this is the end of the list. Now every node is containing a pointer to a node which is of a similar type. So this node n2 is similar to node n1, and n1 is pointing to a node which is of a similar type. So this kind of a data type is also called a self-referential data type. We have a pointer variable start which stores the address of the first node in the list. It could be start, and many a times you will see it being called as head, but you can use any terminology or any number or any variable to store the address of the first node. If the start value is null, that means the linked list is empty and it contains no nodes. Suppose we define a structure like this, a struct node, and we say it consists of a data part and it contains a pointer to the next node, which will also be a struct node pointer. So we declare a node like this. It would be struct node pointer A. So you can add a struct node pointer A. This is initially null when the list is empty. If we want to add a new node, we will create a new node over here by doing a dynamic memory allocation, and it would be the size of a node. This is going to return a void pointer. The malloc command returns a void pointer. However, this is a node type and we want the pointer to be of node type. So we do a typecasting and say this is a node pointer and collect the address of the new node in another struct node pointer temp. So suppose this node was created at address 300, then this address would be collected in another node pointer temp. So this temp is now pointing to this new node which has been created. I can put a data value over here in temp. So to access this data, I can access it using temp arrow data. So I put in a value of 5 over here. And since this is a new node, I can put a null value over here to show that it will be a new node and it could be the last node also. Now, to have the head pointer pointing to this new node, I will have to update the value of A to temp. So the address of the new node is available in temp. So if I update this value of A and make it 300, that means now this head pointer will start pointing to this new node which is at address 300. So this is the way we have added a new node in the list. Now, where is this new node being created and where are these variables temp and A? So if you see this node, going by its definition, this int data would require 4 bytes. The node pointer would also require 4 bytes. That means this node requires 8 bytes of data. So suppose it was created at address 300. That means the first 4 bytes are going to contain data. Here it would be data. So like in this case it is 5. So binary value of 5 would be stored over here and a pointer to the next node which is currently null. So where is this memory being used? We know that the memory layout of any program that is running in a machine consists of 4 parts. One is the text part, which contains all the instructions that are to be executed. There is this part where all the static and the global variables are stored. We have a stack which is used for function calls and to keep the local variables, and we have a heap where space is used for all the dynamic memory allocation. So whenever we are creating these nodes using malloc, which is a dynamic memory allocation, that means the nodes are being created in this heap. So if we have created a node at 300, suppose this is node 1, so this node 1 would be created in the heap. The local variables, this node pointer A and this node pointer temp, they are local variables and they would be available in the stack. So A is also here and temp is also available in the stack frame which has been created for this program. So they will be, temp is pointing to this node N1, and when A is updated with this value of temp, A also starts pointing to this particular node. Now if we have to add more nodes to this list, we can again do a temp and a node pointer malloc the way we did over here. So suppose another node is created over here which is at 400. So a node has been created at 400, and again we are collecting its value in temp because temp is available for use now. So temp is pointing to this new node 400. We can put in a data value again, whatever data value we want to put over here. We can put null over here, and if we want to add this new node N2 in this list, we will update the address of this pointer to point to the new node. So if we make this 400 that means equal to temp, because temp is having the address of this new node, then this node n1 will start pointing to the new node. So this is how new nodes are being added in the linked list. So how is memory allocation happening over here? Suppose we have two linked lists. One is storing the roll numbers of students enrolled in machine learning. Another is storing the roll numbers of students enrolled in the IoT course. And this is the definition of the node. It is storing the roll number and it is storing a pointer to the next. So we have the first roll number and the pointer to the next node at address 20. Since the first node is at address 20, head 1 would be having a value of 20. So here is the first node of 8 bytes. It is storing the roll number of S1 and storing the address of the next node 110. So at 110, we are having the second node. This is the second node at address 110. It has the roll number of student S3 and a pointer to the next node, which is at 130. So at 130, we are having the roll number of S6 and a pointer to the next node, which is at 150, and so on. Similarly, the last node 70 would be having storage for the roll number of S10 and a value of null, because this is the last node. So if we have to traverse this linked list, we will start from the head pointer. So the head pointer is pointing at 20. When we go to the address pointer part, we see it is 110. That means the next node is at 110. Then the next node is at 130, and so on. So this way we will be able to go to all the nodes of the linked list. Similarly, head 2 is pointing to 50. That means the first node of the second linked list is at 50. So it is storing the value of roll number S2 and a pointer to the next node, which is at 90. So 90 would be having the roll number S4 and a pointer to the next node, which is at 120. At 120, it is having S5 and a pointer to the next node 10, and so on. So if we want a new student to enroll, from where will we get this space for the new node? That means a new node has to be created to be added to this list. So where is this space going to come from? How do we know that from which part of the heap this new node has to be created? Also, when an existing student drops the course, how will we free the space and where will that space go? So the computer system, it maintains a list of all free memory cells. And this list of available space is called the free pool, and this can also be maintained as a linked list. So we have a list of all the available space that is there, which is free. Here is a linked list which has used up the space in the heap, and this is pointing to address 400. In 400, we have a structure which is storing the roll number and the marks of the student and a pointer to the next node, which is 412. At 412, we are having the roll number of the second student, his marks, and the roll number and the address of the next pointer. So this way, we know that this linked list is finishing at address 472. This is the last node of this linked list. What about the other memory spaces that are available? So this space which is available, so the avail pointer over here, it is showing the list of the available spaces. The pointer to the next node says that the next available space is at 448. So this is the next available space. This shows that the next available space is at 460. This is the next available space, and the last available space is currently at address 508. and this pointer avail, it is storing the address of the first free space. So whenever a new node has to be added, the memory address which is pointed by avail will be taken. So suppose if a new node has to be added, then this space which is pointed to by avail will be added to the linked list. So the linked list was ending over here. So now this will point to 424 and this will become null because as this will be the last node of the linked list. So let us draw this again. So 424, the space is available for the new node. That means this space will be added to the new node, to the linked list. This will be the last node, so this will become null. And 424 will be added to the address of the last node of the link. Now my new list of free spaces starts from 448. So this available will be updated to show 448 and it will start pointing here. How do we take care when a node has to be deleted? So suppose if S2 was a node which has to be deleted and suppose it was at address 70. If this node has to be deleted now, then this space which has been freed up by this node will be added back to the heap and the avail pointer list that would be updated with this newly available free space. So how will memory allocation take place if we have a structured definition like this? Int roll number, this would require 4 bytes. A character array of 10 bytes, so this will require 10 bytes. Another integer of 4 bytes. A character grade like A, B or AB, so this would require 1 byte, and a pointer to the next node 4 bytes. So if you see over here, this requires 23 bytes. So that means each node is requiring 23 bytes over here. So if the first node is say at address 10, then 10, 10 and 3. 23 bytes would be used up by this node. In the first 4 bytes, the roll number would be stored. In the 10 bytes after that, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 10 bytes after that, the name would be stored. Then we will have the marks, then the character grade in 1 byte and the pointer in the next 4 bytes. So this is how the memory allocation will take place for the nodes.